Hey guys, what's up? Holderhek back with another video. I'm gonna be traveling the next couple of weeks, so I gotta push out content faster than ever before. So I feel like now is the time to start with the ridiculous YouTube clickbait top 10 lists. It's a thing. It's just what we gotta do, right? Okay, so there's PvP weapons. I feel like the best PvP weapons have some sort of unique proc that lets you do cool things in PvP as opposed to just having, like, big damage. There's a couple specific examples of just, like, super big damage on, like, a weird item that we'll go into, but I want to talk about, right, the top 10 PvP weapons for Phase 1. And it's only clickbaity because I'm not including swords or polearms because I can't use swords or polearms, and I don't care that those things aren't in this list because the things I'm putting in this list are frigging great. So let's just get into the top 10 list, right? Top 10, clickbait, subscribe, ring the bell, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's go. And before we get started, this list is not in any sort of specific order. It's just the order in which I remember things, so it's gonna be kind of random. Let's start off with Malone Slam. This is a fun little item you can get from Postmaster Malone. Post Malone, born in 1995. I know that from watching way too many donut videos. Anyway, it knocks the target silly and gives you a mini crusader on proc. This is a super fun weapon. The knocks a target silly on this weapon, it isn't a stun, it just kind of makes them wander around. So it will break on damage, but the mini crusader being stacked with regular crusader and interrupting anything they're doing with that knock silly effect is super fun. The thing hits like a truck, and I personally think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, Malone Slam, one of the top 10, we'll say number 10, of your top 10 PvP weapons. The next weapon on our list is going to be the Blackrock Slicer, also known as the I can't say what it used to be called or I will be demonetized, even though I don't think I'm currently monetized. I don't want to, risk that. So I also like to refer to this as the Gamer Axe because it will allow us to rise up. This thing hits like a truck. It's a gigantic razor blade on a stick. The proc is like whatever, it doesn't really matter. The thing has a 4.0 swing speed, which means your Wind Fury crits and your Storm Strikes with this thing are just gonna be astronomical, okay? And plus, it just looks amazing. And just look at that. Look at that. You don't want to mess with razor blade on a stick guy, right? Right, cool. So that's gonna be number 9 on our list. Next, we're gonna piss off some tanks, but I think at some point the tank mafia got together and decided that literally every good item in the game is somehow BIS for tanks, so I just don't care. This thing is a pretty easy to acquire, and I mean easy to acquire in that it drops frequently enough off Magmadar. And it's a great PvP weapon because you can enchant it with like Frostbrand or Flame Tongue and it hits super fast, and the only time we should really be using one-handers in PvP is against high armored targets, so fast with Flame Tongue is a good way to ding 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 get through that armor, and the proc is super nice because then you can ding 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 get through that armor. I like it a lot, and plus, it makes me feel a little RP, because I've always wondered why the hell Shaman don't use fist weapons, considering if you look at Warcraft 3, the only thing we used were fist weapons. Food for thought. Okay, so admittedly, this next one's a little gimmicky. You have to have it crafted, the mats aren't super hard. But, it has the Dark Iron. Well, you know what? I should probably tell you what it is, right? The Dark Iron Pulverizer. It's a craftable mace. And it has a chance on hit to stun the person for 8 seconds. Now, obviously, you hear that and you're like, holy crap, 8 seconds. I could go and make a burrito in that time. So, obviously, if this thing procs, you're winning that fight, you know, barring they have some sort of stun break. The only issue with this mace is that it doesn't proc very often. We're talking like if it procs 1 in 5 fights, you're lucky. But I just have to put it on the list because the proc is so stupidly powerful that if that thing does go off, you're almost guaranteed a win. And that's fun, right? I think that's fun. Sticking with the one-hander theme and the fist weapon theme, this is one of the more fun PvP weapons in the game, in my opinion. It drops off one of the best named mobs in the game, and that's Gok Bashgood, who also drops the Bashgooder, which is my favorite weapon, like weapon name in the game. I mean, you're never gonna beat the Bashgooder. But let's talk about his other weapon, the Herd Smasher. So the Herd Smasher is a fist weapon, very fast, very good for us in PvP, and that chance on hit, unlike Malone Slam, which just caused them to kind of wander around, the Herd Smasher actually knocks them on the ground and stuns them. It is hilarious, and I highly suggest you pick one up just so you can do that to people and watch them have no idea how you just did that to them. Fantastic item. Not just for Phase 1 either. This is great for like AB, Warsong Gulch, any objective PvP. That proc is super beneficial. And moving on to the next item, we're gonna find one that's even better than this, but it doesn't have quite as good of a name. Now, complete honesty, if this top 10 list was ranked in any sort of actual order, this thing would be number 1. The Earthshaker is such a good PvP weapon that I can't even begin to describe how good of a PvP weapon it is unless, like, you understand how how good an AoE stun is. Like, it's so amazing. You could easily win, like, 2v1s, 3v1s with this stupid hammer. Like, it can proc multiple times in a Wind Fury. It knocks down, it's a huge radius. It's like the radius of a Tauren's War Stomp that just knocks everybody down and stuns them. And it just does it all the time, man. It's like having your own little portable crowd control machine. Like, this hammer, get this hammer and keep this hammer forever. Like, it makes guarding flags in AB, like, brain dead easy. It makes, like, doing any sort of crowd control and player control in Warsong Gulch, like, brain dead easy. It makes fighting people in the world brain dead easy. This is my favorite, like, my favorite general purpose PvP weapon in most of vanilla WoW. Earthshaker, please sign my chest with this Sharpie. Love you long time. Big fan. Yes. Now I want to make sure my Spelly boys, my Caster boys, my Elemental boys get some love. And we got to talk about the Hand of Edward the Odd. This thing is the hands down best PvP one-hander for Elemental in the game. Like, it's just so incredibly game-changing. It's just as game-changing as the Earthshaker. Put Wind Fury on this thing, hit somebody a couple of times, dink dink boom, and now you got a free cast of Chain Lightning or a free heal. This thing completely breaks the game for Elemental Shaman. And in PvP, which is where Elemental Shaman truly shine, this weapon is just, it's just a game changer in, like, every single aspect of what that term means. If you can get a hold of one, get a hold of one, and proceed to call down the wrath of God on anybody who decides to get in melee range of you because they think that's your, quote, weakness, quote. Next on our list, we have the Slave Driver's Cane. Nothing particularly odd or cool about a proc on this weapon, other than the fact that it hits like an absolute truck and it's a stick. The stats on it are great. You don't even have to go into two-handed axes and maces to use this thing. It's like one of the hardest hitting staves in the game. There might be, like, you know, epic staves from you know, Naxxramas or something that have higher DPS than this or something stupid. But, like, this is a blue item that drops in Strath. And for, like, Phase 1 and maybe even Phase 2, this thing is incredibly powerful. And there's nothing special about it. It just hits really, really, really hard. And hard enough to get a spot on the list. Kind of a dark horse pick here, but I like this thing. The Gravestone War Axe. It's your pretty typical just melee weapon. It has a couple of things going for it though. A, it's a tombstone on a stick, so you can't really beat that. And B, it has a dot effect. And dot effects are super great against rogues and pretty much anybody you want to cause damage to over time. I'll be honest, I'm really just putting this on the list because it's a tombstone on a stick. Now, last and certainly not least, we have the Iron Foe. In my trek to endlessly piss off tanks and apparently take their BIS items from them, I'm adding this to the list. You can't tell me that a weapon that has a built-in Wind Fury proc was not meant for Shaman. I'm sorry tanks. Get something else. You have the Quell Sarar, you have the Thunder Fury. Let me take the Iron Foe. This thing is incredible. Like, you just have to think of the possibilities, right? It's like, it's pretty easy to think about, right? Wind Fury on the weapon. Wind Fury is the weapon. Plus Hand of Justice. Dun, 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 dun. It's just great. It's just great. Like, I mean, none of us are gonna get this damn thing, even though I have seen, like, many people with it running around on my server. But it is just super fun to think about getting a 5-hit Wind Fury on top of your auto attack, on top of your Storm Strike. You know, it's just, when it happens, you know, that like 1 in 10,000 chance that all that could happen at once, it's just gonna be the perfect moment in time. And that'll be it for the video, for the list. I had a lot of fun making this video. I just came up with most of these items just off the top of my head. And ones that I've either used, I've seen used, or my friends have, and they're just great. I highly suggest you get all of them. That'd be super cool. Get literally every single item on this list, because that would mean you're a true fan. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you like the video, give me a like. If you like my content, give me a subscribe, ring the bell, ding dong diggity doo. Please catch me when I'll be streaming on Twitch at The Holderhek, twitch.tv/TheHolderhek, and I hope to see you all in the world, in Azeroth, on Fairbanks, #Dadbanks, #Chadbanks. This is Holderhek, signing off. Bye-bye.